Hi, beloveds. It's Karuna here, and today I'm going to present one of the most important topics I've ever offered on this channel. And here's the topic. Why does therapy sometimes fail? Why does therapy sometimes feel hollow, like we've missed the mark, that we're not quite good enough? Why do we sometimes go to 1, 2, 3 therapists and feel like we're the utter failure when we leave? All right? Can you relate? Here's the key. When we as individuals have healed, soothed, integrated wounds, traumas, hurts in ourselves, when we have truly integrated those hurts and healed those hurts for good, put them to rest, only then are we in a position to see and understand another person's wounds and hurts. And then we can experientially reach out to another person and support them in their healing and integration process. So, in other words, when we experientially dive deep and do the inquiry on our own, right, with the support of a guide, a good one, hopefully, when we have plumbed those depths, and when we have healed that wound, we can then powerfully support another on this journey. Many therapists are trained in an educational system that emphasizes the intellect. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good application of the mind. We enjoy applying our mind, and many therapists bring textbook intellectual understanding to their sessions. That's all very well and good. But what about those of us who are curious of ourselves as multi-dimensional beings? In other words, we have an emotional body, we have a mental body, we have a physical body. What about our spiritual nature? For those of us who are interested in weaving together all the parts of ourselves, we would want to be drawn to a mentor, a guide, a healer, a therapist who experientially knows this journey. And I'm going to make an analogy here. Let's say you're learning to play piano, okay? And you're looking for piano teachers. Wouldn't you want your piano teacher to know how to play the piano? And beyond that, wouldn't you want your piano teacher not only to have the intellectual understanding of, what does this music say to me? What are those notes on the staff? But wouldn't you also want them to be able to experientially convey the notes, the feeling of the notes, right? The beauty of the notes, the beauty of music and song. We'd want both, wouldn't we, if we were studying piano? The same is true in healing. We want a mentor, a guide, a therapist who has enough intellectual understanding to know their chops, but not so much that they slap you with a diagnosis and off you go with pills. Do you know what I'm saying by that? I'll give you an example. Bipolar. Let's give somebody a diagnosis of a bipolar. Well, guess what? This world is set up in polarity. Sun, moon, day, night, left, right. Wow, think of that in and of itself. The world is set up in polarity, and truly the journey of transformation is coming to union, bringing the polarity to union. And just on that understanding alone, being with someone, when you understand how we can see things one way, and then we can do a 180 and see it another way. Wow. All right, this is a world of polarity, and weaving this into the understanding of sessions, the experiential knowing, the experiential realization that, I can see things one way, and then I do the 180 and I can see it from an entirely new perspective. And when I do the big zoom out, I see that, wow, we can see things like 360 degrees around a certain idea or a certain concept or a certain trauma, right? So those of us who bring the intellectual component into being, into place, with the experiential knowing of how a trauma and adversity, right, an early adversity gets placed in our body like a vibration, like a resonance. Those of us who have tracked that experience and felt felt in our being, when was the moment of separation? When was the moment that I abandoned the great self because it hurt so much? The experiential wisdom, when we bring that to sessions, then clients, we learn orally in a multisensory way, A-U-R-A-L, A-U-R-A-L, in a multisensory way. So it becomes a transmission, something that's passed on through transmission and through deep knowing. Then, when you're in sessions with this kind of power, you might feel an aha moment. You might feel uplifted. You might feel like a heavy burden. The weight of the heavy burden of the confusion has become lighter. You might feel like the confusing message is placed on you by the world, by other people who are confused, right? Our world sends a lot of confusing messages that are counterintuitive to our soul's wisdom. When you sit with someone and you're in their presence, whether it doesn't have to be in person, can be remotely, right? Can be through this video right now. When you're with someone like that, a transmission will take place where it is beyond a mere literary understanding or a mere intellectual understanding. It will seep and soak into your being. And then you can untie the knots of early wounds for good. Surely, inevitably, it just takes practice. But when you sit with someone and they can help you track back in that way, guess what happens? You take the projection off the abuser, right? All that energy you've put into hating them and making them wrong and all the things that we'll do, you take that energy away from them and you start to see the trauma at the deeper level and when it was installed. And then you're going somewhere with it because you can start to untie it. And then true integration can occur. Okay? Whew, that's a lot. So are we clear now on why sometimes traditional therapy falls short? Are we clear that the most powerful transmission takes place when you're with someone who has enough intellectual understanding, right, to know what they're talking about, but also they have that experiential component and they bring it together and they support you with whole heart, whole being, right, with such generosity. They're not just looking at a clock. When's this session out? Okay, next. They're thinking about you after the session. They're thinking, how can I help uplift for future sessions, future times together? This is the future of mentoring, of guiding, of wellness, of therapy, whatever you want to call it. This is the future, and this is what is truly sustainable and helps us integrate for good. I feel this video is very important. I generally don't ask you to share videos on this channel. Please, if you find this video to be important, please share it with the wellness community, the mental health community, the movement community, the emotional health community. Share it with as many people as you're inspired to share it with. All right? At the very end of this video, I will leave information about how you can get in touch with me, and also in the comment section below, you'll see how to reach me. Please feel free to comment, and again, subscribe. I welcome you with open arms and open heart.